This is training mission number 9, shipborne procedures, the long version. In this one, we will take off from the ship and return to the ship. Let's see.
In this training mission, we will cover the primary shipboard procedures for the AV8B Harrier, including short takeoff and case 1 recovery. As you can see, we are starting in a cold aircraft, as the first thing we are going to do is the INS-C alignment used on the boat. Go ahead and proceed with the startup and halt when your engine is running and you would normally conduct the INS alignment. Make sure to ask for the ground power, as deck crew will also connect the deck cable used to communicate with the ship internal navigation system, or SINS.
Okay, let's start the plane. First we will assume the plane is checked, the cockpit is checked, and everything should be in the correct place. First we talk with the ground crew and tell them to connect to the cable.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now on.
Okay. We don't have a message about the SINS, but and also we will remove the wheel chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now removed.
We are on parking brake now. Okay. So first let's check the battery. As voltage on. Let's turn our radio. Let's put some lights on. Anti-collision on. Let's set the switch to on. And position lights. Then turn on fuel. Turn on decks. The rest of switches are okay. Okay. Let's turn on the MPCDs. And radios. Let's go to menu, engines. Okay. All is set. Let's turn up one.
Generator, stop failure.
Yeah, one thing I should have tested were the lights. Apparently they work without test. Okay. So we have the APU on. Let's engine start. RPM 2%, 3% throttle on. Ignition, engine start off. Okay, we have our engine started. Let's put the nozzle to 10%. Let's turn on flare, empty on. The rest are okay. Flaps on. Right. It's armor sit. Brakes is okay. Accumulator is okay. Let's turn on also our oxygen. And the battery has okay. Okay, I think we are fine. Let's set our altitude to 2000. The warning GPS is on, and also let's set radar. Rest we don't need for now. Okay, let's press spacebar.
Enter your EHSD page on the left MPCD. Now select Data with push button 2 and then AC with push button 16. And enter your current latitude, followed by the Enter button.
Current is north 420700. Enter.
Now press ODU button 1 and enter your longitude. When ready, press Enter.
0400429. Enter.
OK, verify that the parking brake is on and place the INS knob in C position.
East 7.2. Enter. Okay. Verify parking brake is on, and let's set on C. Why is saying caution? Canopy is on. INS. Okay, quality not okay, which is fine.
On the ODU, you should see a couple of new options. Deck, which is currently colonized, tells you that the deck cable is connected. COM 1 and COM 2 are used if the cable is not available, in which case you can use your onboard radios to communicate with the ship's own INS.
Okay.
On the MPCD, you have the standard information, qual not OK, and the timer counting up below it. The whole alignment process should take around 3 minutes. You may place the INS mode selector knob to nav at any time after the alignment quality number drops below 3.0. When OK is displayed, you may place the INS mode selector knob in nav or IFA.
Okay.
Normally, once you are aligned on the deck crew will display a tote board containing the following information: type of takeoff, distance from nozzle rotation line, required trim, nozzle setting, wet or dry takeoff, and your aircraft's weight. For this takeoff, the information should look like this. Please note it down.
Okay, takeoff type, short takeoff. Takeoff line is nozzle rotation line at 450 feet. 0 degrees is trim, 60 degrees. Nozzle, we took off dry, no water. And the weight is a bit higher. The mission is modified beside the skins of the planes, etc. I changed a bit to the weight because it was too heavy. Meaning when I was returning to the ship, I was too heavy to vertical land. So. Okay.
Now complete normal takeoff checks. Make sure to turn anti-skid off, select radar altimeter, and set the stow stop lever to correct position. Remember to switch nav to IFA once the alignment has completed.
Okay. Alignment is not completing. Let's switch flaps to stall. Anti-skid to nose wheel steering. Let's set the stop for the nozzle to 60. We are on short takeoff. PC is on 14, that's fine. Trim is on 0. Okay.
Time for one finger check. You don't need to set the NRAS as you will rotate the nozzles at the rotation line. Check the pitch carrots and set the stabilizer trim to the briefed value.
So now it's okay. Quality is okay. Let's switch nav. IFA. Okay. Let's deselect data. Fine. Okay.
Good, now time for a two-finger acceleration check. Bring the engine to 60%, check that the acceleration time is within the limits, place nozzles at stow stop and conduct duct pressure, nozzles, and flap checks. When satisfied, place the nozzles back at 10 degrees.
Okay, parking brake off. Yeah, I should say that the canopy is off. Oops. Okay, let's accelerate quickly to 60%. No, not quickly. First, let's enter the engine page. I was just hit accelerate. Back to 60. So we have 2.7 acceleration, that's fine. Let's put the nozzle to 60. We have duct pressure. And back to 10.
You are now ready for the short takeoff. The procedure is very similar to the short base version, with a main difference. You rotate the nozzles when your front wheel is on the nozzle rotation line at the front of the ship. A small forward stick check may be required to stop the pitch rate and maintain an attitude between the pitch carrots and 5-degree pitch bar. Don't pull the nose off the tip.
Okay. Let's not pull the nose. Okay.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry. I was almost leaving with my cable still connected. Sorry, Chief.
Machine, turn off the ground power.
Copy. Ground power is now off.
Thank you. So this is 750 feet, and we will take off at 450. Basically we will turn and brake. We are probably at the line, I'm not sure, because he doesn't say what is the line. All the way back. Yes. What I'm doing is to rotate Around here there is 450, 460, just where the main rotors, the water rotors. Okay, let's close the canopy. Canopy is now closed. So we have droops and skid. Okay, let's turn off the nose wheel steering and set just skid. And now we are ready for takeoff. We check the nozzle selection. No other warnings, everything is fine. Let's throttle up. No push, no pull on the stick. Full blast. And airborne. Gear coming up. We start to move the nozzle.
Transition into a wingboard flight in an accelerating transition. Turn left 10 degrees and continue straight for 5 nautical miles, keeping below 500 feet AGL. Once there, turn to waypoint 1 and climb out to 3,000 feet.
Okay, transition to wingboard flight, turn left 10 degrees. Okay, let's turn to waypoint 3. Let's switch to nav mode, waypoint 1.
Once you get to waypoint 1, anchor there. Since it is pretty far away, once you get to 3,000 feet, engage the AFC, and we will go through the basics on the way. Don't forget to switch into the nav mode.
Okay, we are in nav mode. Let's check again. Gear is up. Everything looks fine.
So, for the recovery, we will cover the initial contact, delta and Marshall pattern, and then the Case 1 recovery itself.
Okay, let's turn
Caution, caution.
altitude hold.
First, some terminology that will be useful for this lesson. Mother is your parent vessel. Father is her take-in. Charlie is the time at which you should be crossing the deck edge during recovery.
Okay.
When coming back to the ship after a mission, you will first contact air traffic control and state your position with regard to father, altitude, lowest fuel state, and any remaining ordnance. The Amphibious Air Traffic Control Center, or ATCA, will get back to you with the following information: Delta or Marshall instructions, altimeter setting, wind, weather, BRC, clearance to enter control area, and any other important information.
Caution.
Open your kneeboard on the Delta page. Delta is a standard VFR pattern overhead the ship with left-hand turns used for Case 1 operations. While flying it, you should remain within 5 DME of the boat. Now, DME is another important term you should understand. It stands for Distance Measuring Equipment. For ship recoveries, it will be take-in or father. So, whenever you are told to stay within a certain number of miles DME, or XDME, it means that the distance from the take-in shown on the EHSD page cannot be greater than that number. Good. Switch the kneeboard to Marshal page. Marshal is your holding point while waiting for clearance to land. There are two types of take-hand Marshal, primary and overhead. We will cover the first one as it will be the most commonly used. As a rule, take-hand primary Marshal will be oriented on the 180 bearing relative to the base recovery course, or BRC, at a distance of 1 nautical mile for every 1,000 feet of altitude, plus 15, with the base altitude being no less than Angel 6.
That's quite some math to do.
The base recovery course is the course of the boat. You will want to set it up using your course setting knob with the ship's take-hand selected on EHSD page. I know it sounds complicated at first, but you should get a hang of all that pretty quickly. If you find yourself in trouble, take some time to study the instructions in your kneeboard.
Okay. The distance is calculated as follows: for each 1,000 feet of altitude, add 1 altitude to the base 15. Okay. Okay, there is some study to do, anyway.
So, coming back to the Marshal, let's say you are told to hold at Angels 8, BRC 060. That means that your holding pattern will be at the 240 radial at a distance of 23 miles. The legs during the hold should not exceed 10 miles. Okay, continue to waypoint 1 and anchor there.
Okay. So basically the whole thing is just for brevity. They will tell you the altitude and the heading, and that's about it. They will tell you the BRC, the recovery direction, bearing relative to BRC. And the mission is a bit, some errors. On this page it says Angel 7, he said about Angel 8, and I think in the actual mission I have to be at Angel 6, so give or take, some informations are a bit confusing. So now basically we are going away from the ship. Basically just to burn some fuel. Because we will be heavy. So we really need to burn some fuel. This is a bit of glitch. What can we do? We can turn on the RWR so we can see the ships, because the ships have radar. We can see when they illuminate us. Okay, it's going towards our waypoint. We will arrive soon, and we can actually switch to Okay, we are at the waypoint.
Good, so now you have the basics. Let's move on. You will set up your take-in, fly toward Mother, and enter the control area. I will give you instructions from control and the specific marshal. Once you get there, we'll move on to the next stage, the landing pattern. Set up your take-in and turn toward Mother. When you get to within 50 miles, I will give you instructions from control.
Okay, so the take-on is 46, channel 46. It says 44 in some of the briefing is 44. On the knee board is 46. So we use 46 and turn it on. Okay, now we are turning towards it. So we are now at 67 miles away from the ship. Okay, we should be fine when we approach. So we can turn off tone. This beep is the radar of the ship. DME. 1.
Dodge 1-1, control. Marshal at Angel 6, BRC 351. Cavoc, altimeter 29.88. Clear to enter control area. Normally, you would read back that information and then proceed to the indicated marshal point. For this mission, to make things easier, we have one of the destroyers following Mother and trail 21 nautical miles behind.
2988. And the BRC will be 351. Let's set the course to 351. And we will be at Angel 6. Oh, we stay at 4,000, it's no problem. So he says that the marshal area is where there is a last destroyer that is in the group of the carrier, so the amphibious ship. So the last destroyer has the radar on also and is the last 49. So we should actually turn a bit. We can see the last 49 also on the HUD, so we can disable a bit the AFC and turn towards that ship, kind of like this, and we can turn on the AFC again. So the ship should be somewhere at 11. But they are 33 miles away. Let's set the bingo to 800. Probably I will enter below. Okay, the ship is now a bit to the left. Because it's moving from right to left, so no worries. I can see the ships right there. We can see our Takan, the father as is known, moving with the ship. The circle is the waypoint selected. The waypoint 0 is from where we took off. And we are going towards the Marshall area, which is the last destroyer. Don't see it yet. It should be just in front. Basically, as we cross the line, we should be just above it. We can see another ship that is 3 miles behind the carrier, the amphibious ship. So that's our final. Oh, now I can see the destroyer. Barely visible in front. But we are going straight to it.
Caution.
Okay, we have arrived. We burned some fuel. I really burned it. Slowing down. You can see the ship. Basically, we should be just above it.
Very good, you are in the Marshall area. Anchor here and let's cover the landing itself.
Okay.
You will either be cleared to leave Marshall by control, or you will have to judge the timing yourself in order to make it for the assigned Charlie time. When departing, you should be at 250 knots indicated airspeed with a rate of descent between 4,000 to 6,000 feet per minute. You will report to center that you are commencing and give your current altimeter setting. When you get to 5,000 feet, you should reduce the rate of descent and aim to arrive at the gate at 1,200 feet. Gate is always located 12 DME on the BRC. Next step is initial, located 3 nautical miles astern at 800
initial,
feet.
not final.
From there, you will enter the brake. The brake is performed flying up the starboard side of the ship. You begin a level brake to the left 10 seconds after you pass the bow of the ship. When on the downwind leg, you will descend to 600 feet and perform standard landing checks, including switching the anti-skid and external lights to off. You should be 0.8 to 1 nautical mile from mother. When arriving abeam, which is at the line of the stern of the ship, the following checks should be completed. set nozzles to between 50 and 60 degrees, making a beam call, and turn toward the groove. The moment of the turn depends on the wind speed. If it is greater than 20 knots, turn prior to arriving abeam. If it is between 10 and 20 knots, turn when arriving abeam. If it is less, delay the turn for 2 to 4 seconds.
Okay, I don't know the wind.
The turn should be an instrument type turn with 20 to 25 degrees angle of bank to arrive at the 90 at 400 to 450 feet with the AOA between 10 and 12 units. You should enter the groove at around 300 to 350 feet, being between 0.5 and 0.75 nautical miles behind the ship. Keep 3 degrees glide slope, set the nozzles to hover stop, and fly toward the offset point on the port side of the ship, about 1 plane width from the edge of the ship. When cleared to land, you will cross over to the designated landing position and perform a vertical landing. Bear in mind that the ship is moving with a constant speed. Upon touchdown, reduce the power to idle, apply the brakes, select nozzles aft, and set the water switch to off if used.
Okay.
Alright, if you're ready, let's do it. If you haven't done so already, make sure that your take hand is selected by pressing push button 5 on the EHSD page. Now set up the BRC using the course select knob. BRC is 351 magnetic.
Selected.
Align your jet with the course line, exit the Marshal at 250 knots indicated airspeed, and begin your descent. Aim to arrive at the gate, which is 12 DME, at the radar altitude of 1200 feet.
Okay. Let's go. So now I will turn off my WR. I see the ships. We lowered too much. Doesn't matter, we can correct. Let's add some more power. We are at 12. Too fast a bit.
You are at the gate. Continue flying towards initial, which is 3 miles astern. You should be at 800 feet when you get there.
Okay. You see the ship. Okay, we see our ship that is at 3 miles. Should descend a bit more. Let's get ready. A bit too high. But anyway, we will stay at 800 here. This is our initial. Fuel is fine.
Very good. For the brake, you will want to be on the starboard, or right, side of the ship. Begin your brake to the left 10 seconds after you pass the bow.
Okay, we are 800. Preparing to count. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, turn. Okay, gear going down.
On downwind, descend to 600 feet with 10 to 12 units AOA and perform landing checks.
We will be
When a beam set nozzles to 50 to 60 degrees, then make an instrument type 20 to 25 degree turn to the groove.
we are now on 60 and let's turn. Okay, now we need to play with the throttle. We should be way lower. Gear is down. Okay, turning to. Now let's put the nozzle to 2.
Arrive at the groove at 300 to 325 feet, nozzles to hover stop, keep a 3-degree glide slope, establish yourself one plane width from the landing spot at 120 feet.
Okay. More power.
When ready and in steady hover, pass over the deck and land.
Need more power. Hey. Something
You are on the deck. Reduce power to idle, apply the brakes, select nozzles aft and water switch off, if used.
I should have used water because I was at the end of the power.
Very good. Boat landings require a lot of practice. For that, you can use shorter versions of this mission available under the Training tab.
So yeah, that this would be a note to myself. I should have used water. I didn't use water, so I was at the end of the power line. Okay,
Caution, caution.
no worries. Everything was fine.
Now, have you ever thought about the terms used by the Navy? Mother, father, paddles, starboard, deck, overhead ladder, hatch, enoch, orbital slider, ink stick. Even serious things like intercept vector is called a bra call. This sounds like some kind of game played in college, not directing fighters that cost millions of dollars each.
Okay, let's turn. Nice helicopter.
Caution.
Turn. That should do it. Let's put the nozzle back. That should do. Okay, parking brake set. I think I didn't turn off all the lights, but I don't know why they asked to turn off all the lights. But anyway, orders. Let's turn off the engine.
Caution.
The exit's off.
Limiter off. Limiter off.
Oxygen is off.
Fuel.
And let's turn also off our
Caution. Caution.
fuel.
Caution.
Battery off. Okay. We can ask now the ground crew to set wheel chocks.
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And now we are ready to get out of the plane. Cool. This is a nice mission. It works. But I had to resave it and to change the fuel because otherwise you just need to loiter a lot more to consume all the fuel. And some things are not very well explained, like the wind is not explained. Maybe explain some a bit different, the way to wait at the Marshall, and also these things. So for example, this is not really clear what's the delta pattern, since I don't really turn around the ship. I wait at the Marshall with the same pattern but not on the ship. Yeah, but it works, kind of works, the mission. You still need to read a lot the manuals and do it several times, I think, so you'll be able to do it without mistakes. Okay, that's the end.